You said something very kind to me, and I don't know if you want me to say it on the air. Maybe you don't, and you can take it out. But it really meant a lot to me. You said, I never worry about you. And
That's true.
That was such a wonderful thing to hear. It took me aback. I was
really?
Yeah, I really loved hearing that.
Well, I meant it. And then I actually referenced in the beginning of the episode your career arc, but I first met you as a stand-up.
Right.
You're doing stand-up comedy, and you were so funny, and your material was so sharp and well-observed. And obviously, stand-ups, you have to write your own material. You have to have the fortitude to get up there and deliver it. And so I met you in that guise. Then I saw you, as I've said, in one of my favorite shows of all time, in Silicon Valley. And I thought, I love this guy. I love the show. I thought everyone was perfectly cast.
Yeah.
And that is a very hard thing to pull off. It's, in so many ways, the perfect show. And my son and I have really bonded over that show. We love that show and rewatch it a lot. And then you made The Big Sick. And I just you and your wife made it. And I was just seeing this guy just keeps leveling up, which I thought was very impressive. And then you've had this whole other arc.
Thank you.
So I don't worry about you.
Do you worry about Conan at all? And you can be honest.
No, I don't worry about Conan. You know what's
I'm dangerously insane.
Yeah, but because I don't care.
Well, that's another great way not. So you don't really, and also to be fair, you don't really worry about anyone.
Yeah, no, I worry about. I could count the people on my hands. On a good day, my mother. Brother, I really worry about. Emily. No, what's been inspiring about your career is you've done so many things too, and you've been so good at finding, at sort of evolving yourself, and doing these long form interviews, which at the beginning, I watched The Simpsons, but it was your show on NBC that when I first started watching, and you were doing comedy that I had never seen on TV before. I'd never seen that kind of comedy. It was surreal and risky and bizarre, and it was awesome. And to see how since then all the stuff you've done now, sort of redefining yourself over and over, it's really, really inspiring, continuing to be very funny and insightful and relevant.
Oh, that's so nice. It is interesting that there was a quote I read a long time ago by, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Eric Clapton or someone, but it was way back in the late 70s. And some band met him, or some famous musicians met him, and they're like, "Oh my God, Eric Clapton." And he just said to them, "What's your advice?" And he just said, "Keep moving. Keep moving." And I it kind of rang a bell with me a little bit, which is I am no Eric Clapton in any reality, but I do believe it struck me that he wasn't sitting back and saying, yeah, I'm Eric Clapton. And what I've noticed over the years, and I see this a lot with musicians and comedians, is the ones that I tend to admire they never settle down and go, you know what? I did it. They just don't do it. And that's the yin and the yang of it. It's very, it's tricky, but they, the Martin Shorts, the Steve Martins, all these people that I really admire from a generation or two before mine, they're restless, and they're constantly trying to find that next way that they can explore whatever it is they have, whatever their talent is. They can explore it and define it. And that intrigues me. That really fascinates me when people can do that.
Yeah, and to see Steve Martin and Martin Short at this point of their careers doing the best work of their careers, I truly think they've never been better. And they make it look so effortless, which is part of the appeal, I think, of that show is, they make you feel safe. You're like, oh, I'm in the hands of pros. And the way Martin Short is sort of, doing the Martin Short thing, but in a way that's works within that reality.
Right.
It's so good. The other side of that, though, is something I've been working on, and I talked to Emily about a lot. She says, you don't ever take a moment to be like happy for anything you've done. She says, she calls it rest on your laurels. She's like, you should every now and then do that. But I think to a fault for me, I don't have it. Like, I just finished shooting Chippendales in July. It's the toughest shoot of my life. It was very, very exhausting, very, very satisfying and wonderful and magical. 5 months. And she was like, as soon as it's done, you're going to start freaking about what you're going to do next. And I was like, no, I'm so proud of this show and my work in it and everybody else's work in it that this time I won't have that. This time I won't think that this was the last job of my career and that now it's done. And then I took a week, I slept for a week, and then on Monday I was like, this is it. That's the end of my career. Nothing else is coming. What's next? So it does lead to anxiety. I mean, I've chosen a life, we all have, although this gives you some stability. Well, you don't have stability. It's always like thing to thing to thing. It feels like you're always jumping onto the next lily pad, And so I would like to have a little bit more of a comfort in like looking at the whole career rather than just thinking job to job to job.
I think it's tough too because you are still young. I always think maybe this comes later on. I'm no spring chicken, and I sometimes get the first hints of it now, of just someone will show me something from our show in 93 and I'm so young and I don't even remember. I have no, I don't know. I don't really have much of a connection to it anymore. I feel like I'm not even that person anymore.
It's a different person.
Because it was so long ago, and they say every cell in your body has been fully replaced after 7 years. That this is now 30 years ago. And
that's 4 Conans ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's 4. Exactly, 4 Conans ago, and they're not improving either. It's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. But I will look at it and I'll feel an affection for that guy because I know, well, he's well-intentioned and I know how hard he's working and he's really putting this stuff out there and he's getting screamed at by the network that night. But he's, God love him. I hope his skin clears up.